All right, if you missed the NLL this weekend, you missed some absolute bangers. Instant classics even. Rochester, a goalie fight there. What a show. I have a goalie clinic almost every night. These goalies this year are just on a whole nother level. And then you've also got Jack Hanna's situation. He got offer sheeted, it got matched, and it still doesn't seem to be over. We'll be talking about that as well. We'll be doing a little bit of the news first. Full week 4 recap of every single game, so you guys know exactly what happened. I'll be giving out my weekly awards as always. We're going over my power rankings because everybody else loves to do them as well. So I got to throw mine in there. I think mine are right. And then we'll have the week 5 preview, which is going to be another amazing games. Don't miss them. So let's get right into this. So welcome back. My name is Jake McDonald. I am Anything Lacrosse. This is the game that never sits still. And what a weekend, like I mentioned before. So before we jump into this episode, we've got a lot to cover. I'm only doing one episode this week because it's Christmas, and I just found that it was going to be too much to try to pump out two. Even to produce one at this time of year, I've got a lot going on, juggling all this stuff. So yeah, I wanted to get this out because at the end of the day, I want to make sure anybody who listens to me is caught up. The people that choose to listen to me. Also, I want to make sure everybody's ready for the next weekend. This was a good weekend, guys. I went 4 for 4 last weekend, and I plan to go 5 for 5 again this weekend. So these teams are good. These games are amazing. So I just want to start off by saying Merry Christmas to everybody, and as well Happy Hanukkah, all that kind of stuff. Anybody celebrating anything right now? Hats off, or Merry whatever the fuck you want to celebrate. Okay. I am gonna say that anybody that doesn't celebrate, I have friends that are Muslim, and they always still seem to get together and have just a dinner. So I find this holiday, Christmas, has been very, I don't know, Canadianized or Westernized or however you want to put it. And I think it's more just about getting together with your family and just seeing spend time with people that you maybe don't have enough time to the rest of the year. So this is a good excuse for it. So even if you're not, super into the religious part or anything, go see somebody that you love. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. So happy to whatever the fuck you celebrate. All right, guys. So let's go right into this. So we're going to be doing a packed episode. Usually I do, 2 episodes per week. This week, because of Christmas, I want to spend as much time as I can with my kids. All that stuff, we're doing 1. So I am recording this currently on Christmas Eve. So I'll be dropping this later tonight, or maybe possibly even tomorrow morning. I'm not sure at this point yet. I'll have it out. No, I'll have it up tonight. So tonight's order is going to be, we're going to start off right away with Jack Hanna. Then I'll get into the week 4 recap. Then I'll get into my weekly awards, my power rankings, and finally a week 5 recap. So I'm going to I might not go into things as deep as I normally do just to try to keep this going, but we're still going to make sure everything's touched on. Okay. So make sure you leave in the comments if you want anything and that I missed throughout this. So let's get right into the Jack Hanna situation first. Okay. Jack Hanna, what a messy situation this is. I always say, if this was a normal league where these guys were full-time players and they didn't have to do anything else and they made $1 million, $2 million a year, whatever, plus, that's where we'd be talking this guy should just go play for this team, suck it up, run with the rules, and it is what it is. That's not the league we live in. Jack Hanna has a business that he needs to be there for, from what I understand. So he really doesn't want to leave Colorado, and I cannot blame him. Now, with this, it gets slippery because if you let the one player do this, then it's just another one and another one and another one. We've seen this a bit in Vancouver right now as well, where these players are starting to dictate where they want to go with Christian, right? And I get it. As a player, I get it. Good for you. Hey, but as a league, it is kind of hard to have these teams in other markets. But that's just the way this is going to be, right? Hopefully we can keep producing higher caliber players. It looks like we're doing that. These young kids are coming up doing this. But I think in this situation now, we're at the point where we're probably looking at a trade. Essentially what happened was Colorado decided to put an offer out to Jack Hanna. Vegas is allowed to match that offer, which they did, I think within 48 hours or whatever it was. Jack Hanna has basically said he doesn't want to play there. And not in so many words. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but I'm going to pull up the exact tweet that I just seen put out, or X post, whatever you want to freaking call it. I'm going to probably call it tweet just because then I feel old. So this is by Dawson Nielsen. Shout out Dawson, great guy right there. So this is from Dawson. So spoke directly to Jack Hanna this morning. This is only from 5 hours ago too. So spoke directly to Jack Hanna this morning. I've had conversations with Las Vegas. This is a quote. I've had conversations with Las Vegas about the possibility of being moved to Colorado. This is an off-floor decision tied to my business and family. I have nothing but respect for the Las Vegas Desert Dogs, and I wish I could be part of the offense. Another thing that I was reading, anyway, I also read, I think it was Don Dawson, but I could be wrong, that he was not happy about the additions that were made over in Vegas this offseason. Now, again, I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something I kind of read along the way. So take that with a grain of salt kind of deal. But it is interesting. I think that Jack Hanna to Colorado for me makes a lot of sense. I've been saying this for a couple months now. Colorado's missing that upfront guy that's really gonna, or not that they're missing it, but they need it. If they could get one more, it would be just amazing. That team would be a championship caliber team right there. They would slide into that top tier of teams if they could go get one more player that star caliber player. So I think Jack Hanna, he put up 86 last year, 86 points. I think he would slot right in Colorado really nicely there and give them that extra offensive push. Tim Whittam on the other side is sitting there on the bench. That is, in my opinion, he's ready to be a starter. He is young. I think he's 21, but I think that's kind of Vegas's MO anyway. Maybe getting Kells out of there and bringing Whittam in, plus a couple draft picks as well, Jack Hanna or something. I don't know exactly what that trade would look like or whether Kells would even be an option to come back. Maybe with a backup goalie or something, or even maybe no goalie. Who knows? But I just think that at this point, with everything that's going on, I think it only makes sense to have Jack Hanna go to Colorado and just get Vegas to get a return, right? Jack Hanna is an absolute stud of a player, but I think it would be better off for both teams if you were just to be able to bring in a solid goalie that's ready to go, that's ready to to prove himself, which is Nathan Whittam. And then you also have the other side where Vegas needs a goalie. They already have the offensive, like they're really good offensively. Then you've got Colorado that you give Jack Hanna, an immediate spot. He's another young guy. Him and Malcolm can really, get to know each other. They're both pretty young, and go in and see what you can do for the next little bit. Do you want to trade away your starting, like your not your starting goaltender, your future goaltender, right? And then it gives you a championship push right now as well. So I think a trade like this makes a lot of sense to me from a fan's point of view, sitting back and looking at it, right? So that's just my opinion on it, but it's interesting to see. But I don't see if Jack Hanna is like, from what I understand too, I've talked to a few people about this. He's willing to sit for the year. He doesn't care, right? Like, I'm sure he cares. Don't get me wrong, but he'll out of like whatever. He'll sit there for a year and sit out. So that's scary as well for the league and for him as a player. Do you want to be doing that? And at what point do you say, well, it's just worth having him sit out and not play for us, but not play for anybody? Or is it better to get a return of players and assets and just, move on from the situation? So let's see what happens. But that's kind of my opinion on it. Like I said, I think it makes a lot of sense if Whittam gets traded over there and as part of the deal. I don't know what the deal exactly looks like, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm that knowledgeable and that I've got enough experience looking at over previous trade history to know exactly how a trade would be set up in the NLL quite yet for such a star young athlete, and it could be a face of a franchise kind of a caliber player, I think. So we'll see what happens there, but it's definitely interesting. Let's get right into the games of the week. Okay, we're gonna go right through them quickly. Again, I'm gonna try not to drag this out too long. All right, so game one of week 4. Anyway, Vancouver versus Oshawa kicked off the week. Vancouver won 8-6, and again, Vancouver showed why they're a veteran team. They started out. Oshawa came out hot, and they came out and put some stuff up. I think it was 4 in a row or something up. Vancouver really locked in. Christian adapted well, as he always does, and they ended up winning the game. Oshawa, if they could have played that whole game with the energy they came out with, I think they would have had a better shot. Obviously, again, this is a veteran team, and this is what veteran teams do, right? So it was a very, very, very close game right till the end. So we have Vancouver getting 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and then 3 in each of the third and fourth quarters. So obviously the second half was a lot better for them. Oshawa, like I said, they came out and scored 4 right away, 0 in the second quarter. And then they had to actually delay the teddy bear toss for this. And then quarter 3, they got 1. Teddy bears flew. Quarter 4, they got 1 as well. And it just wasn't enough. Like I said, if they would have just continued to play the way they were, it would have been a lot better. Again, here's another prime example of why faceoffs don't mean anything. Oshawa won 14 out of 19 faceoffs, but they were 1 for 4 on the power play. So was Vancouver. Oshawa outshot Vancouver 52-42. Then Vancouver had 22 penalty minutes this game compared to Oshawa's 12. Keegan Ball top for 5 points. You had Simmons again. Simmons to me is the guy that it really shouldn't be considered not pulling his weight on this team. Simmons is got 13 shots on goal. 3 points isn't, I want to say it's not great because it is, but you need more out of him a little bit. I will say that, but he's still, in my opinion, still pulling enough to say he's pulling his weight. He could get a few more points like a Keegan Ball where he gets 5. That'd be better. Del Bianco, we had another absolute outstanding goalie performance with a 48 save night. And then you've got a 34 save night for Doug Jamieson. So it's not like Dougie's playing that bad either. He's playing good. I watched like he had that one really good behind the back save there that he had, and he looks good, man. Like he does. And these are low scoring. Like he let 8 in. I think he only let 7 in, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check right now. But he's because it was like I think there was an empty netter, if I'm not mistaken. So just run it through. Charlene Beatty's had 2 points. Callie's had a point. He had an assist. Also had 4 penalty minutes. Then we got Claridge with 2 goals and assists, so that's really good for him. He's starting to get that thing, some depth scoring in there as well. He's putting up the points. You got Curtis Dixon with 2 goals. You got Jesse King with a goal and an assist. You've got Shane Simpson with an assist. Brian Dilks with an assist. Also got Subach with a goal. Got Keegan Ball with 2 goals and 3 assists. Like really leading the team. And like I said, you have 6 goals against for Christian Del Bianco. 46 saves. But what a freaking night by Delbs there, man. Just killing it. Just killing it there. You've also got on the other side, we got Kurtz with 2 assists. You got Kyle Rubish with an assist. Alex Simmons with a goal and 2 assists. You got a couple guys with 1 assist, like Dyson. Did they get a goal here? You got a goal and an assist. 2 goals by Ethan Walker. I like Ethan Walker a lot. You just need more of these guys. That's the truth out of it. Even Alex Simmons, really a goal and 2 assists that game. He needs to put more in the net, but they also need more out of everybody. Walker, I do like Walker. I think he's kind of doing what you've expected out of him. I would say even Alex Simmons, as much as I was saying before, he's playing to his potential, and I think so he does. You can't say he's not pulling his own weight. I will still agree to that, but I will say that I think I would like to see a bit more at Alex Simmons. I don't know what's going on with this team and their scoring woes, but it seems like it's not just them; it's kind of all over. Because the fact that these games, now correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a newer fan, I always say this, but it seems like these games are low scoring this year compared to last year when I was watching, or even when I look historically at numbers. It seems like games are down. I think I heard we're down around 3 goals a game or something on most games. So if that or on average or whatever, if that's the case, you got to kind of start seeing like what's the issue here? Why aren't guys scoring? So or at least to the capacity they were. So we're getting into the territory. Like I was saying this, after this weekend, I mean, Oshawa's got 5 games played. They're over a quarter of their season done. And so Oshawa doesn't play this week, so they get a bye. So it's time to kind of get out there and regroup and figure out what you're going to do to move on. Vancouver, to me, they're looking pretty good at the back end. I do think their offense could do better. Don't get me wrong, but they're doing enough. And that's the thing, the way Vancouver has built their team, they don't need to score a ton of goals, but it's almost like I feel like they should be scoring more. Like they have the talent to be scoring more. So it's going to be one of these years. It's looking like a goalie year. I don't know what it is, but that's kind of what it looks like to me in comparison. Like you got to think these are low scoring games for the most part. Now we're going to get into the next one. We had Rochester Nighthawks versus Philadelphia Wings. What a show this was, guys. We obviously had the goalie fight at the end of the game, and I heard Hartley say he wanted to put a show on for the new owners. They were at the game. It was their season opener, and it was just like their home opener, and it was just amazing. What an experience to be part of. They had the native culture out there. I love that kind of stuff personally, but that's just me. And they were just flowing. I knew they were not going to lose this game. That's why I just knew it. Philadelphia, again, they're still hard to play against, so I will say that. But what Rochester does very well in this game is they came out very hot, started the game with 5 goals, right? 5 goals to 1 anyway. And once you're down, like Rochester almost comes out hard, gets ahead, and then they're still scoring, but it's almost like once they get that lead on you, you can't catch up. So any teams that are looking to play Rochester, you need to score first against this team, and you need to get the lead so they can play from behind. Because right now, the way they're going in and walking into these games is just like they just come out so hot that it's so hard to get back up once you're down by 4 or 5, right? So Rochester, they got 5 in the first, 2 in the second, and then four each in the third and the fourth for a total of 15. And then you had Philadelphia, they got 1 in the first, 3 in the second, so they did outscore Rochester in the second. And then you got 2 in the third and 5 in the fourth. So they outscored Rochester in the fourth as well. So they could have just, again, not let them go up so much right away. It would have been a lot better for them, easier to try to catch up. It was a good game back and forth. I was just about to turn it off because I was like, this is pretty much over. And then the goalie fight happened, and I was so happy that I didn't turn it off. So that's why another thing to keep in mind is trying to keep the game on till the end, because you never know what's going to happen at the end. Shots on goal were 51 to 53. for Rochester. Very tight though. A lot of shots for both guys. This is the other thing with it being such a low scoring year. I know this is kind of a different, like this wasn't a low scoring game by any means, but it's funny because these shot totals are actually quite hot. You had on the faceoffs, again, Philadelphia. Here's another proof that faceoffs don't mean anything in this league. It's crazy to me when I look at the stats. I would never guess this, but here's another one: 23 to 31 faceoffs for Philly, and then you have 8 of 31 for Rochester. And the power plays, Rochester were 3 for 4. 65% is massive. And then you have Philadelphia Wings 3 for 5, which is also really good. 60%. That's good. That's good conversion rate. 23 penalty minutes for Philadelphia Wings. 27 penalty minutes for Rochester. So again, absolutely killing it. I mean, sorry, and again, that's quite a bit of penalty minutes for both of them. These teams are both gritty, and they're not afraid to get into those. They're not afraid to throw the body around, both these teams. So it was an exciting game. I really liked it. You had Connor Fields with 11 points, going for the MVP again. I see Connor, and Brendan O'Neill with a total of 6. Not bad. You also had Nick DeMood, obviously, and Ryan Hartley with 15 points, or with 15 penalty minutes each. I think they both take a game suspension, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look into that, but I mean, I thought it was awesome. I loved it. And plus, the nice thing is, to be honest with you, I mean, Rochester has a great backup goalie as well, so I don't think they're overly worried about it. I don't know. There's got to be a method to that madness, right? So, but cool, really cool experience. My first ever goalie fight I got to see in lacrosse. Anyway, Brendan O'Neill had 10 shots in net. Connor Fields had 11. Brendan O'Neill, like I was saying, I kind of said this yesterday, that I think he has the best shot in the league, or he's got one of the best shots in the league when I watch him. And I really enjoy it. He's slowly becoming my favorite player in the league, honestly. I'd say that about a few different guys. I really like Alex Simmons too. I like Randy Stotts for a little while. I still do like Randy Stotts. Lyle Thompson. Lyle Thompson's having a little bit of a down year this year though. But there's a lot of players that I like. I enjoy watching players as well, more than I do teams, I find now. So, as I get older anyway. And so those are some guys that I really like. When I watch Philly, I really enjoy watching O'Neill play. And he's going to be around for a long time. He's probably the face of that franchise, I would think. Eventually, Joey's still there. Don't get me wrong. But he's really good, man. So, Zed Williams getting his first goal this game too, which was really cool to see and be part of, or get to experience. All right, so let's just run through Burkhoff. So you have Dustin Burkhoff getting 2 goals. Good for him. But you've got Blaze Royden getting a goal, Liam Patton getting a goal. You got Joey Rez getting 2 goals, 3 assists. Killing it. Dalton Young, 2 assists. You've got Brendan O'Neill with a goal and 5 assists. And I was just saying how good his shot was, and it's just he's even more of a playmaker this game. Eric Fennell, which I really am impressed with that kid, man. 2 goals, 3 assists. I really like watching him as well. Sam Clare with 2 goals and an assist. And then you've got Demood with 15 goals against and 37 saves. So still realistically, not the greatest game, but Rochester's such a high scoring game. I like Nick Demood. He made some really big saves in there as well, but it's just when you're getting so peppered by these guys, by such top elite players, it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop the ball. So here we go. So we're going to go through Rochester now. You have Ryan Launchberry with 7 assists. Massive. Guy's a stud, man. Connor Fields with 5 goals, 6 assists. McConvey with a goal and 2 assists. You got Adam Thistlewall with 2 assists. You got Graydon Hogg with a goal and an assist. You got Zed Williams with 2 goals and 1 assist. So he actually got 2 that game, not 1. Or I said he got his first one, but he also got another one as well. Dan Coates with an assist. Kyle Waters with a goal and an assist. Ryan Smith with 2 goals, 2 assists. And then you got Jacob Piscino with 3 goals and 1 assist. So huge for him. You got Hartley, obviously, with 10 goals against and 36 saves. So again, not a bad night. Still played pretty decent, honestly, from what I was watching. Yeah, they're such a Philly's that weird team this year that, again, like I've said, is they don't really have any pressure on them from the media or anything like that. Maybe I'm assuming all teams have internal pressure on them. And don't get me wrong, especially a team like this where they need to try to be good, to try to get an ownership to buy them, hopefully. With that being said, they're a scrappy little team, man, and they're going to do better than people expect them to, I think. Now, I don't know if they're going to do better in the sense that, are they going to have a better winning record than people said? I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I mean, they made the top 8 for the league's NL power rankings, right? So that's something to be said, and we'll see what happens going forward here. But honestly, great game. What a great fight. That was the most G thing I've ever seen. They both just undressing as they're walking towards each other, getting ready. Partly with the little shuffle there. I love it. It was just a great experience, that game. So cool. So this again. So I watched 2 games already this weekend by this point, and they were both absolute bangers. So here's the first one I didn't get to watch because, again, not that I didn't get to watch. I think I watched the part of the 4th, and then the next day I went back and watched it again. It was like they have like a 20-minute recap on the NL Plus, so you can go back on and do that. And they have like 3 minute recaps, they have 10 minute recaps, 8 minutes, whatever it is, and then they have like a longer one usually. So I try to watch a longer one. But honestly, overall, really good game by Saskatchewan defensively, in my opinion. Georgia really couldn't get even going until the fourth quarter. And like I said, Lyle Thompson, as much as I always like die hard for him, he's the best player in the world. You can definitely see he's starting to slow down a little bit. Still love watching the guy play. He's definitely not the same version of Lyle Thompson I've seen when I've went and watched other older stuff, or even last year from the or this year, earlier this year from the Man Cup. When I was watching him there, it was just like some of the plays he was making were amazing. You still do see flashes, but he's getting up there a little bit. And by no means is he gonna by no means is he washed. I don't want to sit here and say that, but he's getting to that range where I can't. It's hard for me to keep defending, or not keep defending, but keep saying that he's the #1 player in the world. So I'm going to stick with that right now still, but we're coming about halfway through the season. If we get there and he still hasn't kind of started to pick it up, I'm going to have to kind of, start looking at other players, because it is at the end of the day, there's so many good guys in this league. So by no means is, oh, you're not a good lacrosse player. It just might not be at that #1 level anymore, right? Because there's always hungry. And, it's always, even in fighting and stuff, it's always like, it's easy to, or it's hard to get the championship, but it's even harder to keep it, because now you've lost your hunger a little bit. So, and I think with Georgia, the position they're in, like I've said, a lot of people think they're going to be better than they are. I think, like I said, I don't see them as a playoff team, and every week somewhat confirms this with me a little bit more and more. So I think that it's going to be one of those things that I think Lyle will be a Halifax Thunderbird by the end of the season, at least till the end of the season, and then we'll see where he ends up, right? So, but it's going to be, Georgia's not making the playoffs, I don't think. So we're going to see some movement in there, but they do have some young guys over there. So, all right. So Georgia had 1 goal in the first and 3 goals in the fourth. Nothing in the middle of that game. Not enough out of production out of them. And they were playing Saskatchewan. And that's what I mean when Saskatchewan's a top tier team. I don't care what anybody says. And a lot of people are sleeping on Saskatchewan now because they didn't make a lot of big moves in the offseason. Because I don't know, man, they just seem like they're kind of lower on everybody's power ranking list. And I'm like, bro, I still think if three to me is not crazy, but I have them at 4, but that's only because the teams are so good. But that could be flipped. Like I could honestly, there's an argument to be made that Saskatchewan is the best team in the league right now. Well, second best, because I mean Halifax is undefeated, right? So, but still, they're right up there, right? So they had 2 goals in the first, a goal in the second, 2 goals in the third, and 2 goals in the fourth. And this is the thing about Saskatchewan: they're just going to keep coming. They don't stop, right? They just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Now here's the first game of the week that faceoffs, I guess, did matter a little bit. 11 out of 15 for Saskatchewan. 46 shots to 42. They have no power play goals in this game at all. 0 for 4 for Georgia, 0 for 3 for Saskatchewan. So Saskatchewan does need to be better in the power play if they're going to be that elite team and, beat those elite teams, because the power plays really matter, I find. Like later in the season to go, when you play these big teams, your power play has to be on point in order to, when you get an opportunity, you have to convert on it in order to win the game. So again, Robert Church, with 4 assists, show me that he's still an elite level player. You've got Nasa with 9 loose balls. I love that stats. Austin Shanks, 12 shots on goal, best personality in the league, I think Austin Shanks has. And then you have Brett Dobson and Frankie, 39 saves for Brett Dobson and 38 saves for Frankie Giuliano. There, he was amazing. When I was watching him play, I was like, man, Frankie is so good. This game would be way worse of a situation if Frankie wasn't in it. So good for him, man. So Lyle Thompson held to 1 assist. I think he did that the first week too, if I'm not mistaken, when he played, which would have been whatever, week 2 or whatever when he played. But Lyle Thompson being held to 1 is not enough out of Lyle Thompson. You need more out of him. Now he did have 7 shots on goal. He had 2 loose balls and 3 turnovers, right? So again, he's still doing other things, don't get me wrong, but you need more production out of him, especially if Georgia's going to be considered one of these teams. So I hope we can see a little bit more out of Lyle Thompson. Then you had Hickey get a goal. You had Nolan Byrne had 2 goals and an assist. He's stud, man. That kid's a stud. You had Jordan McIntosh. I'm going to read this right this week. A goal. And you've also had Caleb Benedict with an assist. Shane Jackson with an assist as well. He's been released. And then Brett Dobson with 6 goals against, 39 saves. Like what a performance by Brett Dobson, dude, honestly. But the both goalies, it's not just 1 goalie. I'm going to go into this in a second, but so on the Saskatchewan side, you had a goal and 2 assists out of Zach Mans. Love Zach Mans. I love this team, man. Saskatchewan, I love this team. Robert Church with 4 assists. You had Austin Shanks with 2 goals and an assist. You had Brock Haley with a goal. You had Hayden Garland with a goal. You had Ryan Barnable with a goal. You had Josh Zawada with a goal. So a lot of, again, nobody's really hogging the ball, right? Like everyone's out there, everyone's making their attempts. Everyone's putting a piece in. They're sharing it around. They're making sure everyone gets some touches, and it works. You don't know where you're going to get the shot's going to come from. That's the truth. I seen it when I was watching, especially that fourth quarter. I seen it. Like I've seen that one goal. It's just they moved it around so much, and then all of a sudden, it just popped. And it just you can only follow it for so long when you're the goalie, right? So you had Frankie Scigliano with 4 goals against, 38 saves. Like, what a performance by this guy, man. What a performance, dude. That's insane. That is insane. That is insane. That is insane, guys. These 4 goal. What is going on? We've got goalie battles every week. And I think that's the frustrating thing, or I would think it would be frustrating for Brett Dobson that he's putting up such great performances and his offense isn't doing the same thing. Same as Jameson in Oshawa too. But I think it's a bit worse a little bit with Brett Dobson, to be honest with you, because I find if I had to put them right now, I think Brett Dobson's been having a little bit better of season than Jameson overall. But it's both those guys' situations that are like, if they could just have a better offensive team, they would kill it. They would be killing it right now. Like their numbers would be even better, right? So it's definitely this was a goalie battle game, which you keep seeing in these leagues. And from now on, I'm gonna start taking the unders in these games because that's fucking 11 goals, like total. That's crazy. And the thing is these goalies go in there and they battle it out, man. The goalies are getting the clean shots. Defense is doing a better job. I don't exactly know what it is, but these goalies this year just seem to be on a whole nother level. It's just don't get it. Now, I'm not saying I don't mind it. I love it because when I talk to guys who don't watch box lacrosse or don't watch lacrosse at all, the biggest thing I hear is like, oh, the goalies don't do anything in box lacrosse. Well, I disagree. Go look at the numbers. That's not true at all. You're talking like you don't understand what you're talking about, obviously, right? Which is fine, whatever. Just I always ask people when I say box lacrosse is better than X, box lacrosse better than basketball, box lacrosse is better than hockey, box lacrosse is better than football, whatever it is. I'm just trolling a lot of times, right? Trying to maybe when I say that stuff, it's always try to get a new fan base, lacrosse in front of new fans, lacrosse in front of, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. When that happens, when the people are saying, "Oh no, football's better, hockey's better," stuff, I always ask them, "Have you ever seen a box lacrosse game?" And most of the time they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, then how can you safely say that this sport is not better than this sport?" I can safely say that because I've seen it all. Now, obviously, I'm a little biased because I do content about this, but it's the funniest thing is I do content about this because I love this sport so much. This is my favorite sport in the world now, and that's coming saying a lot coming from a guy who has the Leaf memorabilia that I have behind me, first off, but also has a big tattoo on his arm of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I still love hockey. I still love the Toronto Maple Leafs. And honestly, if I have the Leaf game on or even a hockey game on in general, right? But the Leafs are always, I'm more attentive towards the Leafs when I'm watching hockey anyway. If I have a Leaf game on or I have a lacrosse game on, and this can be any lacrosse game, any box lacrosse, NLL game, I prefer the NLL game. I do. I find myself watching it more, right? And again, I'm doing content for it, so of course, but at the same time, it is just pure entertainment. When I was watching the thing, I'm watching the Leafs get absolutely spanked, and maybe that's my issue. I'm watching the Leafs, but I'm watching the Leafs get absolutely spanked, and I look down and there's a goalie strap going on. After I just watched the rest of the game was absolutely top notch as well. So, this is why I think that if you haven't watched the games, then it's kind of hard for you to understand that or for you to actually say and have a based actual opinion that you've seen that box cross is not better than another game because you've never even seen a game. So that's what I mean. I'm hoping by doing this, I can get at least a couple fans of other sports to watch these things, watch box across for the first time, and give it a go. So anyway, we got next game. The next game we've got Ottawa versus Las Vegas. Again, I went 4 for 4 this week. I said Vegas was going to win this game, and they did. They came out very strong. Chase Frazier, human highlight reel, had a great game. We've got Las Vegas winning 10-9. We're going to talk about this here. Las Vegas went up very, very strong. Things started to slide very quickly. So Ottawa came back strong. Came out a little bit sleepy. They needed to be. If they could have just played that first quarter better, they would have definitely got this win. But I kind of had this feeling this was going to happen. So coming off, Las Vegas fresh, Ottawa played, and they're. I'm just you. They were a bit slow to start the game. Let's just put it that way. So you had Vegas putting up 4 goals in the first, 5 goals in the second, 0 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. So they really got that lead and tried to hold on. And then Ottawa, 0 goals in the first, 4 goals in the second, 3 goals in the third, and then 2 goals in the fourth. This was tight, 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 tight. This was a very tight game. It was. Lot different than even the score showed as we were going on. Vegas has some guys who can put the ball in the net. So do Ottawa. Goaltending, flashes of greatness on both sides, and then kind of how did that go in on other things as well. So it was kind of a different week that way. You had 56 shots on goal by Ottawa, 45 by Vegas, 10 for 22 on the faceoffs, and 12 for 22 on the faceoffs for Vegas. So again, that was pretty even, to be honest with you. 2 for 3 on the power play for Ottawa, which is very impressive. And then 2 for 2 with Vegas. So both teams converting on their power plays. And like I said, to beat these top end teams, your power play really has to be going. So it's good. Not a lot of penalty minutes, really. 6 for Desert Dogs, 4 for Ottawa. You had Mitch Jones with 3 goals, also with 7 points. Robert Hellier was 6 points as well, leading them for that. Shots on goal, Jeff Teat again. Jeff Teat, 18 shots on goal, huge. Chase Frazier with 8. You had Jeff Teat as well, picking up a lot of loose balls at 11 loose balls. I love that stat. Great. And then you have Landon Kells with 47 saves and 33 saves for Zach Higgins, right? So Landon Kells honestly still had a good night overall when you look at it like that. We've got Riley O'Connor with 2 goals. You've got Jake Stevens with a goal. You got Noseworthy with a goal and an assist. He also had, and then you got Jeff Teat with a goal and 4 assists. You've got Sundown with a goal and 3 assists. I love this kid. I love Sundown. Nobody talks about him that much, and he is really good. Then you've got Connor Kiernan with a goal. You've got Zach Higgins and 10 goals against, 33 saves. So again, could have had a better night overall. But to be honest with you, like this was a good game. And Higgins kind of again started off rough and then kind of got pulled, went back into the game and really was better. Kind of again, I think if they would have just been able to have a better start, Ottawa would have won this game. So again, what a weekend for a bet. Like what a weekend of great games though. I will say that. And just another amazing, like I said, another amazing weekend of lacrosse. So I want to just run through the top 10 scoring leaders right now. So we got with Hellier with 22 points, 8 goals, 14 assists. You got Keegan Ball at number 2, 7 goals, 13 assists for 20 points. And you got Jeff Teat at 19 points with 7 goals and 12 assists. You've got Connor Field, 9 goals and 8 assists for 17 points. Launchberry with 2 goals and 14 assists for 16 points. Dane Smith, you got 7 goals, 8 assists for 15 points. Alex Simmons with 6 goals, 7 assists with 13 points, has played 2 extra games though in Dane Smith to give you some context there. You have Riley O'Connor with 4 goals, 9 assists for 13 points. Tyler Pace with 3 goals, 10 assists for 13 points. Austin Shanks with 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points. Will Malcolm with 8 goals, 5 assists for 13 points, and Charlene Beatties with 4 goals, 9 assists for 13 points as well. So I got a bunch of guys there tied. And then you've got, it goes down the list. There's your point leaders heading into week 5. Obviously, it's tight. Robert Hellier is really starting to 2 points ahead of the next guy down. So he's just an animal, man. What an absolute amazing pickup for Ottawa, and it is going to be disappointing to see them miss the playoffs if they do. But I don't think they're going to. I have them. I think they're gonna make the playoffs, dude. I really do. Oh my goodness, boys. Let's talk about the goalies for a minute, okay? So let's go to. I just want to see save percentage. So we're gonna ignore the we're going to ignore the backups that have been in, right? But for example, we have like Lauren Hill still has a 90 save percentage. Lee has an 85 save percentage, which is huge still. Brett Dobson, 84 save percentage. Dylan Ward had his 83 save percentage. Christian Del Bianco has an 83 save percentage. Frankie Sheliano has an 83 save percentage. Dougie Jameson has an 83 save percentage craft, which is he's a backup. Oh no, sorry. So Hutch has an 80 save percentage. Demood has an 80 save percentage. Higgins has a 78 save percentage. Landon Kells has a 77 save percentage. Vince has 76 save percentage. Aiden Walsh has 74. So, but as you can see from most of these guys, this is a goalie league this year. Like, okay, if you go back and look, I've done this because I'm a stats nerd. If you go back and look, if you have an 80 save percentage by the end of the season, like you're killing it. Like that means you're like cream of the crop elite goalie. Nick Rose does it every year, right? And here we go. We're gonna get into the Nick Rose debate, but Nick Rose has an 80 save percentage. Christian, I think, was over 80, and I think there might have been one more last year. Everyone else was below that 80 mark, 78, 79. That's what I always say. It's like you need to be in that 78, 79 save percentage to give your team a chance. This year, it's looking like you need to be at 83 right now in order to give yourself a chance. Like, how is Matt Vince have 76 save percentage and is like he's basically like the closer to the bottom of the goalie list than the top, which is insane, right? So that's just I'm just trying to make a point that That's how insane the stats are right now. I guess it's still early. Some teams only had 2 games, right? So it's again, it's still early, but it's not just one team that's doing this. It's across a league that seems like goals are down and goalies are just better, I guess, this year, whatever it is, but it's working. Whatever they're doing is working. So keep doing it. I love to see it. And as much as I love goals, I love big goalie saves as well. So keep it up. That's kind of those saves are really what can get put on the highlight reels. People kind of obsess over them. They can be really highlight reel things, just like goals can be as well, right? So kind of cool. Next we have I'm gonna just run through players of the week real quick. We've got I'm gonna put Connor Fields as like forward of the week or whatever, player of the week. He's just so good. Uh, 11 points this weekend. When I'm watching him play, he's the one that gets out there and really gets your team going as well. It's just amazing to watch. Honestly, Launchberry could be in consideration too, because realistically, he's feeding the ball all the time. But Connor Fields, he does everything so well. The more I watch him, the more I'm like, yeah, he could. I can understand why he was the MVP last year more and more, right? And because I'm watching every game this year. Whereas last year I was even kind of maybe not caught every game, but I'm watching every game this year, and I'm like Connor Fields when I watch these Rochester games. It's just like, holy man, the kid's on a whole other level. And also, he played for the Buffalo Bandits, which I honestly didn't know. So that's another kind of interesting thing. Another Buffalo product that they've essentially drafted, whatever, developed, and then now he's off on his own, kind of like Chase Frazier, right? And he's the guy over in Rochester. So it's interesting to see, honestly. And such a he's such a nice stud kid, man. Like it's crazy to watch him. He's so talented. So my goalie of the week too is going to be Frank Scigliano. He man, 4 goals against. Just an unbelievable night by that guy. I was watching the game, like I said, I caught like part of I think the fourth quarter after the Rochester game was over, and then I also went back and watched like a 20-minute replay, and just the amount of saves that guy makes, the way he does it, the way he's so consistent in net and steady in net, it's just unbelievable to be honest with you. And I'm just amazed by how good that guy is. And I can understand, and this is Frankie's one of the big reasons that I think Saskatchewan is a contender, is in that top 4, because he's such a veteran presence back there. He's so good at what he does, and he really just keeps them in games that they maybe shouldn't be in. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been in this one, but he really does make that team exponentially better than they would be without him. So that's why he's my goaltender of the week. He was just amazing. Shout out Brett Dobson too, though. He had a really good game as well. Obviously losing, but it was just a battle. It's a battle of the goalies when this year it seems like. So let's go right into power rankings, okay? So I'm gonna talk about power rankings for a minute. I don't want to pull up the would like to pull up the leagues. I'm gonna go run through the leagues really quickly. So we've got the power ranking for the leagues. The league, I always like to say it as well. I love the fact that they're letting the fans vote on one, and they put their own out, then they put the fans out, then I always put mine out, right? So everyone's putting their own out as well. But so here we go. So we're gonna start with the power rankings, the official league power rankings first. Okay, we got Halifax, Rochester in second, Buffalo in third, so they dropped a spot. Vancouver in fourth, Saskatchewan in fifth, San Diego in sixth, Toronto in seventh, and Philadelphia in eighth. Philadelphia obviously moving up, Toronto moving up as well. The fans, I think, are a little bit, in my opinion, closer to what it should be, which is funny because I obviously voted in it. So you got Halifax, Rochester in second, Buffalo in third, Saskatchewan fourth, Vancouver in fifth, Colorado in sixth, San Diego in seventh, and Las Vegas in eighth. So Las Vegas is obviously in that top 8 in this one. And I always, like I said, I think that one's a little bit closer to what it is. I personally think mine's always right. So this is what I think is the correct order. But I think the fans ones it's pretty close. And I can see the argument to be made there, closer than the leagues one, actually the official league one. So my top 8 are going to be Halifax, Buffalo, Vancouver, Saskatchewan. Again, those two can kind of interchange. Rochester is at fifth. Rochester, to me, nothing against them. I think they're a great team. I think they're offensively talented. Their goaltending's been great. I just personally think until they beat one of these top 4 teams, I can't put them in that top class yet. You've got San Diego at sixth, or I've got San Diego at sixth, and Colorado at seventh, and then Las Vegas at eighth. So I do think Vegas is a top 8 team right now. I think they kind of proved that by beating Ottawa, but also even their first game against Vancouver, it's not like, wasn't really that bad, and they had lost Chase Frazier's. Kel's had a good game, honestly, overall as well, I thought, and we'll see if they can keep going, right? So let's see what they can do. But I do like Vegas a lot, and so yeah, so we'll see what happens, guys. So there's your kind of like your weekly recap. This league's amazing, and if you're not watching it, you're missing out. Like this is more entertaining than any other sport I've ever watched in my life. I'm so high on it, And I think I'm really enjoying not having a team right now because I get to just watch everybody individually. I don't have to get flip out mad because somebody doesn't do something the right way on a specific team. And I'm really enjoying watching certain players. I'm just investing myself in the game. When I ride with a team, I ride till the end. As you can see, I have a tattoo on my arm for a reason. Never gonna ever not be a Leaf fan, unfortunately. So as soon as I pick my lacrosse team, it's gonna be my lacrosse team forever. Right now, I'm really leaning towards staying neutral, only because it gives me. I'm trying to be impartial as much as I can. Unless some team hires me, then I'll 1000% be on their fan base. Uh, but until that happens, we're gonna see what happens. I said from the beginning of the season or before the season that whoever won the Toronto Halifax game, that was my team, and we're still kind of sitting there right now. We'll have to see how I feel going into that one, but I don't know if I'm ready to join a team yet. Anyway, with that all being said, I love this sport, and if you're not watching it, you're crazy, you're missing out, and at least just give it a chance, right? And if you have a hockey friend or you have somebody who enjoys sports, guarantee you get if you can just get them to sit down, or even better, if you can get them to a game, like I think maybe the NLL could start its promotion like that. Bring a friend to the game kind of deal. Bring a friend, buy a ticket, get a ticket free. Bring a friend that's never seen a game before, right? Show up, with the guy that's never seen or a girl that's never seen a lacrosse game before, and hopefully they get hooked just like I have, and just so many other people that I know have also gotten hooked after seeing one live lacrosse game, especially live. Honestly, live really hooks people. I'm not kidding. So you can get out and go see a game. On the bright side too, it also supports the local team, and it's pretty cheap to go to these lacrosse games. Imagine if you have a date, you want to take a date somewhere, take it to a lacrosse game, bro. It might be a good time if you're a girl too, and you want to take your boyfriend or something. It's a good time to go to a lacrosse game. It's a sick time. So let's get right into the preview of the week. Okay, I'm gonna run through these pretty quickly. Okay, so we're not gonna go super in depth, but we've got Halifax and Saskatchewan Saturday, right? It's a 6 p.m. Eastern time start, so a little earlier. Obviously, Halifax time 7 p.m. This is gonna be an amazing game. Oh, should I go to this one? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I can get down there this week. Unfortunately, I would love to go to this one. This is actually one that I would. This is a banger, boys. This is another game for Halifax for them to go out and be like, okay, we're the best team in the league. Saskatchewan is gonna fall hard off people's lists, or not off people's power rankings, but down to the lower end if they lose against Halifax here, which I don't think is a fair thing. Halifax is in, like, they're at home. This is kind of a game that tells me, I will say, that kind of Saskatchewan could win. They could come in here and win. It's got that feeling towards it. Halifax, they just had a week off. They're in Christmas mode, maybe, possibly. Saskatchewan just came, they lost. They're coming off a loss. Or are they? Saskatchewan's winning. They're coming off a win, but it was a tight win at home week before they lost to Ottawa. So they kind of do need this win. Halifax at home, like I said, they might be, a little bit tired from Christmas, all that kind of stuff. And we'll see what happens. The thing about Halifax is they also have to travel here, right? They don't live in Halifax, obviously, these guys. So it's not like they're playing in their backyard. So we'll be interested to see what happens here. This is, in my opinion, probably gonna be the game of the week. This is one that's gonna really matter. And for Saskatchewan as well. Saskatchewan, if they win, they can definitely propel themselves up this leaderboard, right? Like I said, I had a funny feeling Saskatchewan's going to come in and beat Halifax at home, but I'm going to say Halifax at home because they are so good. It just kind of seems like it could be upsetty. That's kind of how I look at it. But I will tell you right now that the way Halifax is set up, the way Tyson Bowe goes out there and organizes that defense, the way they have so many different weapons, just like Saskatchewan does, Frankie's been unreal. We do need a really good performance out of Warren Hill as well. So that's the thing too. That's kind of this is going to be a big game for Warren as well to show like, okay, can you keep up this amazing performance you've been having? So I'm excited to see it. I'm going to take Halifax until they lose. I'll probably be taking them. And like I said, I could see them. I could see Saskatchewan getting this game. You got Ottawa versus Philadelphia. Second game starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time on the Saturday. All these games are on, 4 of these games are on Saturday, by the way, and we have one Sunday game. So versus Ottawa, I'm going to take Ottawa at home. They need the win after they lost to Vegas last week. They had a big win against Saskatchewan. They're better than their record's showing right now. And I think that they come in here and win. Nothing against Philly. They're a scrappy little team, but you got Robert Hellier. You've got Jeff Teat on the other side. Jeff Teat's just peppering, and he's ready to have another massive game this next week, I think. Philadelphia, though, I really enjoyed watching Brendan O'Neill. We've obviously got, is Damoud going to play or is he suspended? I'm not really sure yet. I got to look into that still. But I think no matter what, I think Ottawa takes this one. You got Vegas and Toronto. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a banger. Toronto, I think, takes this one. And this is the thing. We've got 3 games on 7 p.m., guys. Or basically 7 p.m. I mean, Halifax obviously starts an hour earlier. But it's like I need a little bit of separation would be nice on these. I'm not going to complain too hard, obviously. But I would like to see, I'm going to have to actually, like, obviously watch, a couple games Sunday as well. So we got Las Vegas versus Toronto. Toronto at home. I think, like I said, to me, they're always on like that ninth spot. This is going to be a battle for eighth. I'm going to call this one. This is my battle for eighth place. Whoever wins this game is going to finally take that eighth place spot on my leaderboard next year or next week. The power ranking on my next week. This is a good game for Vegas to show that they are, a real legit threat. And then you're also going to have Toronto, who really wants to win at this point. They need to win. This is kind of a game they need to win, to be honest with you, in my opinion, to show that they are a playoff team. These games are important. Like I said, after this week, we're getting close to being a quarter of the way through the season, and I know that's crazy, but we're already be into week 5 now. 5 games for week 5 too. So Toronto, I'm going to take them that one. Vegas wouldn't completely count them out. I just think Toronto has so many young weapons that are going to come in and just absolutely kill it this week, especially after having a week off. So we've got Georgia versus Colorado next. Colorado at home. Georgia, again, L. Thompson needs to be better than what he's been doing, but I'm going to have to go with Colorado. Colorado, especially if this Hannah thing can get ironed out by the end of the week. I don't know if that's going to happen. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be, I think Colorado has such a great team, and Andrew Q hopefully will be in there as well. And they can really continue to do what they're doing. They can't miss as many passes they did the other game that I watched, and they just gotta be better than they were last time they were out. But I do think Colorado takes this game. Will Malcolm is just an absolute stud. That kid might end up being the best player in the league one day or in another year or two. Even this year, honestly, he's right at the top of the standings for the point leaders, like we talked about. Then you've got, so I'll take Colorado at that one for home for sure, and then we've got Buffalo versus Calgary in Calgary. This is my one away game I'm going to take. I think Buffalo comes in there and walks the floor with Calgary. No, nothing against Calgary. Calgary's got some good guys, and this is one of those games that it's like huge upset potential. And I might take a ticket with like Saskatchewan and Calgary on it. Maybe throw another one on there. Maybe have Vegas, Saskatchewan, Calgary, and have an upset ticket, because that's the thing about this league is like you can have an upset. You can have an upset weekend, no problem. We already just seen one 2 weeks ago. So, but as far as right now, I got to take Buffalo all day. You can't take Buffalo, and Buffalo needs that win after losing to Halifax. So they really need. I think it's not. I wouldn't say it's a must-win game, but they're definitely, in order to stay near the top of this league like they want to be, they need to do it. And Dane Smith, man, when Dane Smith and Josh Byrne get out there, they're both so good. It's really hard to bet against them. So there you guys have it. There's like a little preview for the weekend. I'm pumped again to watch it. I'll be live streaming all that stuff, and so come check it out. It's just that every weekend's a banger in this league. And like I just said, went over it. There's some really, 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 really good games on. So get in there, get watching. NLL Plus has all the games that you're going to see on Saturday night. There's no Friday night game this week, obviously. And I don't know if there's a TSN game of the week or not. I think it might be Saskatchewan Halifax, but it could be wrong. If there isn't, we'll see. And other than that, guys, that's the episode. Thanks for coming. That's episode 22. That's a wrap. Thanks for everybody for coming. I want to say it again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy whatever the fuck you celebrate. Love you guys all. Go have some responsible fun, and hopefully everybody gets what they want for Christmas. We'll see you guys back next week for 2 episodes, as always. And I appreciate everybody, all the love, and just let me produce one podcast this week. Thank you again. As always, my name is Jacob McDonald. I'm Anything Lacrosse. This is the game that never sits still, and we'll see you next time. Talk to you guys soon.